Have you ever felt like the world has turned against you? Like your prayers bounce off the ceiling, and God's silence weighs heavier than 1,000 screams? Maybe you didn't know this, but you're not being ignored. You're being tested. There are things they didn't tell you when you first stepped into faith. They didn't tell you that the path with God also goes through dark caves, moonless nights, and deserts where your soul screams with thirst. And it's on that broken ground where the devil whispers, "Where is your God now?" But listen closely. Today God says to you, hold on for me. Why? Because what you're going through is no accident. What you're living, that anguish, that pressure, is a spiritual war that not everyone can see. And you have been called to stand firm on the bad day, not to break, but to prove what you're made of. Many fall because they seek a comfortable gospel, full of blessings with no battles. But you're receiving something different, an uncomfortable truth. To belong to God is to be a target of hell. Satan doesn't attack what's already in his hands. He pursues those who walk toward the light with determination, even if they crawl on the ground. And if today everything feels heavy, it's because you're moving forward. You're touching spiritual chords you can't see, but that shake the realm of darkness. Don't give up. Don't bow down. You're not doing this for fame, nor for men. You're doing it for the one who shed his blood for you. Hold on. For him. Only for him. The enemy's strategy, wearing you down in silence. The enemy doesn't always attack with roaring. Sometimes he whispers, and other times with the most terrifying silence. That silence that settles in when you pray and feel nothing. When you go to church and the word feels empty. When you help others, but no one helps you. That is the real battlefield. Your mind, your faith, your endurance. Did you notice? The enemy doesn't need to destroy you quickly. His strategy is more subtle, darker. He wants to wear you down in secret. Make you get used to the emptiness. Slowly stop fighting. Keep looking Christian, but be dead inside. And the saddest part is that many are allowing it. Because no one told them there would be days when it seems God is absent. But listen carefully. God is not absent. God is watching your endurance. He hasn't left. He is silent because he's seeing if you love him even when you don't feel it. If you trust even when you don't understand. If you hold on even when it hurts. True faith isn't shown on altars, but in lonely nights. Many want to see miracles without going through the desert. But you, reading this, you're being trained in the fire. And that fire won't consume you, it will purify you. So when everything is dark, when the voices tell you to give up, remember what God says to you today. Hold on for me, because what comes after this battle will make demons tremble. Not everyone is ready for this truth. There's something most preachers won't tell you, because it's not popular, because it scares people, because it doesn't fill churches, but it does awaken warriors. And it is this: God allows the struggle to reveal who you really are. Not for him, he already knows, but for you. You think you're weak, that you can't go on, that you're not cut out for this spiritual battle. But heaven sees you as a soldier, and hell fears you more than you imagine. That's why the attacks don't stop. That's why the oppression doesn't end. Because if you discover the strength you carry inside, you will be unstoppable. Many believers only serve God when everything goes well. But you're being called to a higher level. A level where you serve with tears, with a broken soul, with a heart in pieces. And yet you say, "Here I am, Lord. Even if it hurts, I stand with you." That is true worship. That's what burns the devil. That's what activates heaven. God is raising a generation that doesn't need to see to believe, nor feel to worship. A generation that understands pain is also part of the purpose. And you reading this are part of it. That's why today, even if everything screams, give up, God whispers firmly to you, hold on for me, because if you hold on, others will see it's possible. And if you don't fall, many will rise. The price of endurance, invisible blood. Enduring isn't romantic. It's not glorious. It's not like they show in polished testimonies. Enduring hurts. It leaves marks no one sees. You bleed on the inside. And the worst part is many around you don't even notice. You smile, but you're fighting dark thoughts. You serve, but carry a sadness that weighs down your soul. And while everyone applauds what you appear to be, God sees what you're really facing. This generation applauds appearances, but God rewards endurance. Did you know there are rewards in heaven given only to those who suffer in silence? To those who don't give up in anonymity, to those who don't expect applause but stay firm, to those who have decided to lose everything except their faith. And do you know what the darkest part is? That while you endure, many times God doesn't intervene. Not because He doesn't love you, but because He's shaping you. He's training you for things others wouldn't endure for a single day. And that endurance is so precious in heaven, that when a child of God chooses not to give up, even when everything is against them, the angels stand up. You think you're alone, but all of heaven is watching this scene. And every day you choose not to give up, even if you don't feel it, you're sparking a war in the spiritual realm. That's why God doesn't say, I'll take you out of this now. He says something deeper, more heavenly. Hold on for me, because there is a glory revealed only to those who walk through darkness with closed eyes and an open heart. When hell realizes it can't defeat you, there's one thing the enemy can't stand: a believer who refuses to give up, even when shattered. Did you know there are moments when hell goes into crisis because of you? Not because of what you have, not because of your biblical knowledge, but because of your silent endurance. You may not realize it, but every time you choose to pray, even when you're weak, every time you choose to forgive, even after deep wounds, every time you lift your hands in worship, even surrounded by darkness, an alarm sounds in the realm of darkness. And that's when the devil changes tactics. He no longer tries to destroy you all at once. He knows he can't. He knows you're holding on to an unbreakable rock. So he tries something else. Thought balloon to confuse you, to make you believe you're fighting in vain, that your endurance is worthless, that no one sees you, not even God. But here's the part many ignore. God not only sees your struggle, He is writing it down. There's a book where your battles are recorded. Every tear is sacred ink. Every night you don't give up is another line in your victory story. And even if no one rewards you here, even if you don't receive a thank you or a hug, heaven is preparing a crown for you. Not for the popular ones, nor for those who shined before men, but for those who endured in secret. Today God is not promising it will be easy. He's asking for something braver. Hold on for me, because when hell realizes it can't defeat you, it will start to fear you. God's silence is part of the plan. There's something that hurts more than the enemy's attack. God's silence. That silence you don't understand. That makes you wonder if you did something wrong, if He's still with you, if He really hears your prayers. And here's what no one wants to tell you. Sometimes God stays silent on purpose, not to punish you, not because He doesn't care, but because He's forging something eternal in you, a faith that doesn't depend on signs, an obedience that asks for no explanations, an endurance that demands no immediate rewards. God doesn't speak because He's watching if you can keep walking, even when you don't understand the map. If you can keep believing, even when there are no confirmations. It's an elite spiritual training, and not everyone qualifies for this. Only those marked for greater purposes. And here comes the hardest truth. If you're going through the stage of silence, desert, darkness, it's because you've been chosen for things few could bear. God doesn't test those he won't use. And if you're being tested, if heaven seems closed, it's because the next chapter of your life will shake kingdoms. That's why God doesn't answer you now the way you want, because he's preparing you for something you couldn't imagine. And in this process, he only asks one thing: resist for me. Even if you don't hear me, even if you don't understand anything, even if everything feels upside down, keep going, because I'm still here, even if you don't see me. And when the time comes, I will open the heavens over you. You are closer to the end than you think. What if I told you that you're about to give up? Right when heaven is about to move. Many quit seconds before the miracle, because the attack intensifies just before the breakthrough. Because the enemy knows the breakthrough is near and wants you to throw in the towel before seeing it. Haven't you noticed? You felt this battle is the hardest yet, that this time you have no strength to resist. But that intensity is no accident. It's a sign that something is about to be born. A woman giving birth cries, screams, writhes, but she's not dying. She's bringing life. And you are also in spiritual labor. You are about to give birth to something hell has tried to abort for years. Your calling, your purpose, your victory. And yes, it hurts. Hurts like never before. But you are not dying. You are being transformed. Now listen closely. Old key, many are being watched from heaven right now. Not for their achievements, not for their long prayers, but for one thing: will they keep resisting? Because the one who resists in the midst of chaos will be entrusted with things others couldn't carry. That's the covenant. That's the price of the supernatural. And you are so close to everything changing. But only if you decide not to quit here. So take a breath. Cry if you must. But don't drop your sword. Don't abandon the battle. Because heaven has already decided to move in your favor. Now it's up to you to do the same. God tells you one last time on this page: resist for me, because in the next scene, everything changes. The reward of those who don't give up. You've reached the end of this reflection, but not the end of your journey, because what comes now will not be struggle but glory. God didn't ask you to resist to lose. He asked you to resist because he has already prepared the victory. There are rewards not given to the talented, nor to those with many followers. They are given to the broken who didn't let go, to the weary who didn't lie down, to those who bled and still said, "Lord, even if I die here, I won't leave you." And you are one of them. You carry marks no one sees, but in heaven shine like medals. There is a crown with your name on it, an honor given only to those who overcome, not because they were strong, but because they believed when everything told them no. Now heaven speaks to you directly. Get ready, because days are coming when what seemed broken will be restored. What seemed like the end will be the new beginning. What seemed lost will return to you multiplied in glory. And when they ask you how you did it, you'll have only one answer: I resisted for him, when I had no strength, when there was no light, when I didn't even have words. But here you are, standing, with a mended soul, stronger than ever before. And now, hear this as a direct promise. Those who resist for God see what others only dream of.